Hello. Hey, Holy Spirits, welcome to Facebook Live. This is Earl Purdy, and we're going to be doing a course in miracles. And we're going to continue with how do you stay a happy learner? How do you learn and don't be going through hell the whole time? That's what we're going to do. All right, let me just make sure I got everything right. And we're going to start out with our theme song for the class to get us centered and focused into the truth. I'm not a victim of the world I see by Brother John Christmas at www.johnchristmas.com. Here we go. Da-da-da. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim, no, of the world I see. I'm not a victim of my mom. I'm not a victim of my paw. I'm not a victim of events, circumstance at all. I'm not a victim of the world I see. Cause what's happening now is what I done to me. I'm not a victim of the future, not a victim of the past, not a victim of anything that really doesn't last. I'm not a victim of the world I see. Cause what's happening now is what I done to me. Woo! I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim, no, of the world I see. I want to welcome you to Facebook Live. This is Earl Purdy. Remember, you don't have to accept the ideas or welcome the ideas. I'm the divine repetition teacher, the divine remembering teacher. We want to remember what we are hearing, and then we want to apply the ideas. I'm not a victim of the North. I'm not a victim of the South. Not a victim of anything that comes out my life. I'm not a victim of the world I see. Cause what's happening now is what I done to me. Come out now. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim, no, of the world I see. It's the use of the ideas that will give the ideas meaning to you and will show you that the ideas are true. It's the use of the ideas, using, not analyzing the ideas, but using the ideas will show you that they are true. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. Cause what's happening now is what I done to me. Oh yeah. Yes. I love my high-tech operation. I want to welcome you to a course in miracles. And I'm going to start out like I always do with giving you the guidelines for the Course in Miracles, because One of the biggest challenges with the Course in Miracles is that people tend to want to try to learn the Course in Miracles the way that they've learned other things. And the Course in Miracles has its own guidelines for how you study it so that you can get the most out of it the fastest. And I'm going to share with you what that is. And it's, remember only this as you listen to this. Remember only this, especially if this is your first time listening to this. The guidelines from A Course in Miracles is that you need not believe the ideas. You need not accept the ideas. You need not even welcome the ideas. You got it? You need not believe it. You need not accept the ideas. You need not even welcome the ideas. Some of the ideas, you may actively resist some of the ideas. Some of the things I say today, you may actively resist. Some of the things I say today from A Course in Miracles, you may actively resist. So if you find yourself resisting, remember I told you that you might resist some of the ideas that I say today. Also, you may find some of the ideas hard to believe. Some of the things I say today may totally contradict your beliefs, your conditioning, what you believe is true. So just be prepared that I might say some stuff you don't believe. And also accept that just because you don't believe something doesn't mean that it's not true. Just because you don't agree with something doesn't mean it's not true. The Course in Miracles says we act like we're the arbiters of what's true. In other words, if I agree with what you're saying, then it's true. And if I don't agree with what you're saying, then it's not true. So therefore, I'm the arbiter of everything that's true in the world. It's only true if I think it's true. It's only true if I agree with it. Can you see how totally insane that premise is? But that's the premise that most human beings have. They listen to what I'm talking about based on, it's true if they agree with what I say. And what Earl said today from A Course in Miracles is true because I think it's true. So that's why the Course in Miracles says that you may find some of the stuff that the Course in Miracles says hard to believe. You might find some of the things that the Course in Miracles says very startling. And it also says you're not asked to judge the ideas at all. So the Course is telling me, well, Earl, your role isn't to sit back and be the judge. I'm here to judge whether or not everything is going the way I think it's going, and it's being said, everything that's being said is what I agree with and what I think. So you're not being asked to judge and analyze the ideas at all. So how do you find out if it's true? Well, the Course in Miracles says the use of the ideas will give the ideas meaning. Using it will give it meaning. Using it will give it meaning. And will show you that the ideas are true. So if you use the ideas, you will see that the ideas are true. If you can analyze it, you can philosophize about it, you can debate it, you can discuss it, but none of that is the same as using it. Okay, so don't confuse analyzing something and discussing something and giving your opinion of something as being the same as actually applying the idea that you're hearing. I'm saying this because the Course in Miracles always works when a person does exactly what the Course in Miracles is saying do. It will appear not to work if you're trying to fit the Course in Miracles into the way that you already think. It's really telling us that we don't have to believe it and accept it and welcome it for one primary reason. In my 40 years of teaching and studying this, the reason why I'm saying that is the first stage of changing your mind or being open to another way of looking at things is you have to hear the ideas. So I'm only interested, I'm a messenger. I'm not here to defend the Course. I'm not here to convince you of the Course. I'm here to share the message as clearly as I can. And then your reaction to it is up to you. So no matter what your reaction is, you know, when the postman delivers a letter, he just delivers the letter. Your reaction to the mail that you got, that's up to you. But you do want to receive the message. So what I'm doing is delivering a message. And hopefully I'll deliver the message in such a way that at least you'll hear what it's saying, whether or not you agree with what it's saying. So I'd like to share with you the introduction from A Course in Miracles. It says, this is a course in miracles. This is a course in miracles. It's a required course. Only the time you take the Course in Miracles is voluntary. Free will does not mean that you can establish the curriculum. Because you have free will doesn't mean you can establish the curriculum. In other words, if I wanted to go study law, the college would tell me, the university would tell me what courses that I needed to take. I don't make up the courses I would need to take if I want to be a lawyer. They tell me what I need to take if I'm going to be a lawyer. So that's what the course is saying. Free will doesn't mean you're going to establish the curriculum by which you learn the truth. Free will means that you can elect what you want to take at a given time, right? So they tell me the curriculum, my free will is I could go to class in the day, or I could take classes in the evening, or I could take classes during the summer and don't take classes during the winter. So my free will only applies to me being able to choose when I want to do it. So when the Course in Miracles says you have free will, then that just means it's up to you to decide when you want to learn the lessons that are going to give you peace. That's all I mean. That's all free will means. It doesn't mean you can establish the curriculum. It means you can just decide when you're going to take the curriculum, because there's a certain way that you have to look at things if you're going to have peace and joy. And then there's a certain way that you look at things if you're full of conflict and fear all the time. That's coming from the way you see things. So the Course in Miracles is saying it doesn't aim to teach the meaning of love. It's not trying to teach you the meaning of love, because it says the meaning of love is beyond what can be taught. Hello, mighty companions. So good to see you all. But the Course in Miracles does aim at removing the blocks to the awareness of the presence of love. Love is all around you. Abundance is all around you. Freedom is all around you. Joy is all around you. And what the Course in Miracles is doing is trying to get rid of the blocks to keep you from knowing how blessed you are and how much love is around you and how much abundance is around you. In other words, it's there, but you don't see it. So you have some blocks. And so you need to have the blocks removed that keeps you from recognizing the presence of love and freedom. Then the Course in Miracles says that's your natural inheritance. Your natural inheritance is love. The opposite of love is fear. So whenever you're feeling fear, according to the Course in Miracles, you're not feeling love. You're feeling the opposite of love. And the Course in Miracles also says there's no such thing as fear being in love, guilt being in love, and anger being in love. That's not a part of love. So to go, I'm jealous, so that really means I love you. No, jealousy means I really fear you. And anger is not me loving you. I love you, that's why I stay mad all the time. That's crap. Anger is fear. That's another form of fear. It's not love. So the Course in Miracles says love is the opposite of fear. And what is all encompassing, which is love, there's nothing and no one. There's nothing left out of love. Love doesn't leave anything out. Love doesn't leave anybody out. So the Course says what is all encompassing can have no opposite. So love has no opposite. The Course in Miracles can therefore be summed up very simply in this way. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. If it's real, it can't be threatened. If you really have a real relationship with someone and you really have a real love with someone, nothing can threaten it. If it's real, it cannot be destroyed. If it's real, it cannot be threatened. And if it's unreal, it really doesn't exist anyway. You just think you're in a relationship, but you're not really in a real relationship if anything can destroy it. And usually what destroys relationships is somebody not acting out somebody else's script. It's usually the person that you're with constantly needing you to be different in some way in order for them to be happy. So they're constantly telling you what needs to be different about you for them to be able to love you or care about you. That is not love. The Course in Miracles says that's something that's unreal. Because as soon as I don't do what you want me to do, then you no longer love me. So it was unreal. So it really never was a relationship in the first place. It was the illusion of us being in a relationship. So you have to ask yourself, is my relationship so wonderful and beautiful to me right now? And I feel like it's so strong right now because we're simply fulfilling each other's fantasies and each other's scripts, and we're doing exactly what the other one wants us to do. But the minute either one of us would do anything different from what the other wanted, would that change the way we would treat each other? So herein lies the peace of God. If it's real, it cannot be threatened. If it's real, it cannot be threatened. One of my favorite parts of the guidelines of the Course is it says, no matter what your reaction to the ideas may be, use it. So what does that mean? It simply means if I hear something from A Course in Miracles that I have a lot of resistance to, I'm still going to say it. Even if I like what I'm hearing, I'll use it. And even if I don't like what I'm hearing, I'll use it. No matter what my reaction to the ideas are, I'll use the ideas. One more thing. The Course in Miracles is it works at the level of the mind, and it works at the level of perception. So the Course in Miracles is always trying to correct our perception and teach us how to see things in such a way that we don't lose our peace and we don't give our peace away, because it teaches that if you have a peaceful mind, then you can hear the voice of your inner guidance. Then you can hear the voice of your inner teacher, which is called the Holy Spirit. So the reason why you don't hear your inner guidance, according to the Course, is you don't have peace of mind. So a person whose mind is full of anger, guilt, and grievances is a person that will not be able to hear the voice from within them that's guiding them. So the Course in Miracles, I'll say it again, is working at the level of perception, because it teaches that everything in the world, everything in the outside world, everything that you see outside yourself is neutral. Everything you see outside yourself is neither good nor bad. Everything you see outside yourself, you are giving it all the meaning that it has. So therefore, the Course in Miracles works at the level of our perception. So everything I'm saying today is about the way that you see things. Now, the Course in Miracles has a tendency to knock people out. So if you pass out on the floor, if you go to sleep, if you find yourself immediately going unconscious, you are doing it with 99% of what people do when they hear a Course in Miracles. All right? Because there's a part of you, the Course in Miracles calls the ego, that wants to keep your conditioning going just the way it always has, that doesn't want you to change. So what it does is it puts you to sleep, makes you forget it, or just basically make you want to die. So the Course in Miracles says that. I'm telling you now, so when you have the reactions, I've been doing this 40 years, I've literally taught thousands of people. And so just trust me on this. I kind of know what happens when a person is working with the Course in Miracles. So we left off on the Happy Learner, paragraph 5, which is on page 273 in the Course in Miracles book. I'm doing the Course in Miracles in plain language, and I am the divine repetition teacher. I am a remembering coach. So my focus is not so much on you understanding what I'm saying. My focus is on delivering the message and helping you remember what you just heard. Because if you don't remember something, you have not learned it. I'll say that again. What you don't remember, you haven't learned. So if you say that you're studying the Course in Miracles, for instance, but you can't close that book and remember anything that you read as soon as you close the book, in other words, there's nothing in the book that you can specifically say that's what the book says, then you haven't learned it yet. The reason why you can drive a car is because you remember how to drive a car. And that's how you know you've learned it. You remember the mechanics of driving a car. So the same thing is true about the Course in Miracles. If you don't remember it, if you say you're a Course in Miracles student, but you actually don't remember anything the book is actually saying, then I would say that you have not learned it yet. Just because you can say stuff like, I'm going to give it to the Holy Spirit. Or you can say, well, that was my ego. That's not the same as saying the Holy Spirit didn't make the truth. And like God, the Holy Spirit knows the truth is true. And so the purpose of the Holy Spirit is to bring light and truth into the darkness. Love is trying to bring truth into the fear. See, I'm remembering and saying to you what it's actually saying. So that's what you want to do. You want to get to the point that you are remembering it, because how can you use something that you don't remember? How can you use something that you don't remember? So that's why the Course in Miracles says it takes attention and it takes study. It's not going to be something that you master, that you never read and you never study. The Course in Miracles is comprised of a text, which gives you the theoretical framework of the Course, a workbook that gives you daily practical applications that teach you how to bring these principles into your everyday life. And it also has a manual for teachers that really clarifies a lot of the terms that it uses. So when you buy the book, it's actually 3 books in one. And in some books, there's a supplement that goes with it also. So let me say this again, since I've been teaching this and sharing this for so long. If you are not doing the workbook, you will not know how to apply these principles in your day-to-day experience. So if you are a Course in Miracles student and you don't do the workbook lessons, then you won't learn how to actually take this from a theoretical level and actually apply it to the day-to-day situations that you're dealing with. What happens a lot is that people will read the course and then try to figure out on their own how to apply it. And then they fail. And then they think the Course in Miracles doesn't work. But they're not actually doing the workbook exercises that it's giving you. So I'm just telling you this to save you some time, because the course is one of the simplest, least demanding teachings I've ever studied. And I've studied a lot of things. So, for instance, it says in paragraph 5, I teach in the question and answer format. Okay. When you teach anyone the truth is true, you learn it with them. So every time you teach someone that, what do you mean? What you're studying is true. The truth is true. When you finally learn what the truth is, it's true. That's what makes it the truth. The truth is true. And when you teach it, you learn it. For instance, I'm teaching this material, so every time I teach a class, I learn it with you. One of the things I love about being a teacher is that it guarantees I'll hear the Course in Miracles. It guarantees me that I'll have to keep going through this so that I'll remember it. So regardless of who's actually listening or watching me, every time I do a class, then I'm learning it too. So when you teach anyone that the truth is true, you learn it with them. So if you teach someone that love is true, if you teach someone that freedom is true, if you teach someone that God is true, if you teach someone that peace is true, if that's what you're demonstrating, because to teach is to demonstrate. To teach is to demonstrate. Well, every time you teach anyone that the course is true or the truth is true, then you learn it with them. And so you learn that what seemed to be the hardest lesson will end up being the easiest lesson. So what is it that the Course in Miracles says is going to be the hardest lesson? That what you are studying is true, that the truth is true. What do you mean? It's true that you are not a victim of the world you see. It is true that you're the one that's giving everything you see all the meaning that it has for you. It is true that the only thing that matters is the truth. So the hardest thing to learn is the truth, because the truth is the opposite of what the world teaches. So the truth is opposite to what you've been conditioned to think, which is either you're a victim or you're a person. Most of the world teaches that you're a victim. Just to say it short. In other words, you're at the effect level of everything around you. Everything that's going on in your life is the result of your parents, your past, your childhood, your race, your sex. Everything that's happening to you is being caused by everybody but you. You're the victim of everything. You're the victim of everyone. That is what the world teaches. The truth teaches exactly the opposite. That you are responsible for how you experience your experience, that you are actually a creator, and actually everything that's happening to you at some level, you're the one that's creating it and drawing it to yourself. That you are not a victim of what you see. What you are experiencing is the result of your consciousness, your thoughts, your conditioning, and your programming. So the hardest lesson for most people to learn is the truth, which is I'm not a victim of the world I see. Wow, that's deep. Come on back. There you go. So you have to learn to be a happy learner. The Course says, learn to be a happy learner. Learn to be a happy learner. Learn to what? What should I learn? I should learn to be a happy learner. You will never learn how to make nothing everything. You'll never learn how to make what doesn't last everything. The Course in Miracles definition of illusion is something that's temporary and something that doesn't last. So you'll never be able to make any one single thing in this world everything. You can't make a person your everything. You can't make a job your everything. You can't make anything here your everything. So the Course in Miracles says you need to see that that's been your goal. You need to see that it's foolish to try to make nothing everything, to try to make things you can't depend on that may not last, make that everything. So be glad that all of your misperceptions are being undone. That's something to be happy about. That all of your fears and guilts, all of your misperceptions when you study A Course in Miracles are being undone. Now, there's nothing I'm going to say today that's going to radically change your life or your perception forever. Okay? I want you to think about this. How many teachers and workshops and classes have you been to in your life? And how many of any of those things do you remember right now at this moment? Because what the best thing that a teacher can do is point you in the direction of the thing that you need to study and focus on for yourself until you learn and let go of the blocks. So a good teacher is a good motivator. You can't change anyone, but there are people that you could motivate to want to change themselves. So I have no desire to try to change any of you. I have no desire to try to convince any of you. What I'm doing is hopefully you will have reached your point of suffering and you have suffered so much that you're ready to do it in a different way and you're ready to see things differently. So the Course in Miracles, either it appeals to people or it doesn't. My experience has been either a person's ready for it or they're not ready for it. And that's okay. What first time I was introduced to it, it was 3 years later before I actually was ready for it. So you may not be ready for what I'm saying today, but there are some people that are. So the Course in Miracles says, be glad it's undone, for when you look at it in simple honesty, it is undone. I said before, don't be content with nothing. Don't be content with what's not real. Don't be content with illusions. Don't be content with fear. Don't be content with guilt. Don't be content with sadness. Don't be content with lack. For you have believed that nothing could content you, and it's not so. When something's not real, it never satisfies you. When it's something that is not coming from love, that's not coming from truth, it doesn't satisfy you. The truth is satisfying. Real love is satisfying. So what's not real cannot content you. So where you are dealing with discontent is where you're dealing with something that is not a reflection of what's real. You don't have to believe that. You don't have to accept that. You don't have to welcome that. Remember what I said at the very beginning. It's not about you have to agree with it. I'm just delivering a message. So if you want to be a happy learner, what do? Well, the Course in Miracles says if you want to be a happy learner, you have to give everything you've learned to the Holy Spirit. You have to give everything you've learned to your higher self. You have to give everything you've learned to the part of you that truly loves you. So let me take a minute to share some things about the Holy Spirit. When the whole Course in Miracles says the Holy Spirit is talking about the part of you that is sane, that is innocent, that does know the truth, that is connected to God, to Spirit, to the divine. It's the part of you that has no guilt, no fear, no anger, no sense of separation, doesn't get upset about anything, feels whole, feels complete. There's nothing missing in it. It's joyful all the time and connected to Source all the time. Now, there is a part of you that's like that, but the Course in Miracles is saying you have blocked yourself from being able to hear that part of you. So the Holy Spirit, the Course calls your inner teacher. The Holy Spirit is the part of the divine that is here to guide you. So if you are a person who has total resistance to the idea of God, a higher power, the divine, having a spiritual teacher, or any of that, then you just forget it. You're not going to really get a whole lot out of what I'm talking about today. The Course in Miracles is not another book. It's not another self-help book that's teaching you how to take care of yourself by yourself on your own to do everything. It's also not a book that's about how to manifest a house, a car, more money, more specialists, more fame. That's not what it's about. The purpose of A Course in Miracles is to teach you how to see things in such a way that you keep your peace of mind so that you can hear your inner guidance. So let's get clear what it's about. It's not about meeting your soulmate. It's not about how much money you're going to make. It's not about any of the things that the mind tends to think is going to make itself happy on the outside. The Course in Miracles is saying you have a teacher. You have an inner teacher. That inner teacher can unlearn your false lessons for you. It says it right here. If you would be a happy learner, you must give everything that you've learned to the Holy Spirit to be unlearned for you. To love your right mind, that's another term for the Holy Spirit, your loving right mind. He says you must give everything to your right mind, your loving self, God, to be unlearned for you. And then begin to learn the joyous lessons that come quickly on the firm foundation that truth is true. When I first read that paragraph, I loved the idea that it said, okay, you can learn joyous lessons. You can learn your lessons in a way that is joyful. Your lessons don't have to be hard. Some of you have really hard lessons all the time. So that's not necessary. I repeat, it is not necessary that you learn everything the hard way. So why is it that I do that, Earl? Why is it that I learn things the hard way? Well, it says right here, the joyous lessons come quickly on the firm foundation that the truth is true. So once I start to accept the truth, which is I am loved, I am not alone, I am innocent, I am a child of God, I am divine, I am not a victim. You're going to hear me do a lot of repeating. Once you would start, if you're a Course in Miracles student, you could put it this way. Once you go, okay, I accept that this is true. I may not always understand it. I might have some resistance to it. I can't pull it off all the time. But I do believe it's true. It's true that I deserve love. It's true I'm not guilty. It's true that I'm not sinful. It's true that I deserve to be happy. Well, the Course in Miracles is saying the joyful lessons start on the foundation of the truth is true. So first, accept that it's true, and then you start having the happy lessons. So the happy lessons come from knowing and acting from the truth. The ones you want to be loving, the ones you want to be truly helpful, the ones you want to take responsibility, the ones you want to recognize and accept who you really are as a spiritual being, you'll start to have the joyous lessons. The joyous lessons come quickly on the firm foundation that the truth is true. I work out of the book, even though I've read it over 100 times and been teaching it 40 years, because a good teacher wants to ultimately make themselves unnecessary. So if you see me working out of the book and maybe helping you if you're trying to study, because the Course in Miracles can be kind of challenging when you're dealing with the book, then hopefully that will encourage you to do your own attention and your own study. My classes are no longer geared so much toward people that are kind of checking it out so much as it is toward, after all these years, I really want to be especially helpful to the people who are studying it and the people who are reading it and want to get past some of the blocks and really want to master this. That's who I'm most interested in right now. Because you're not going to grasp all the concepts of the Course in Miracles in any one lecture that I'm going to do or anybody else. But if you were to actually do the attention and study, you would start to see miracles happen in your life that will blow your mind, because the Course in Miracles says miracles transcend time and space and the things that we've been taught is possible. That we limit God. We limit what the infinite can do because we can't do it. Then it's like we don't realize that there are things that can happen that's beyond our comprehension. You have to become open to things happening that you never would have even imagined was possible. That's what's so cool about the word miracle. Because when you just hear the word miracle, the word itself opens you up to the idea of something happening beyond anything that you could have conceived of. And the Course in Miracles also says a miracle is us having the correct way of looking at things as a miracle. That if we look at things correctly, it's a miracle. If we look at things from a perspective of love, true love, it's a miracle. So the first thing you want to do is start strengthening the idea of the Holy Spirit. Strengthening the idea that there's a part of God that has been assigned to you in this life to love you, teach you, protect you, and show you the way to have perfect happiness. All right, I'll say it again. If you totally resist the idea of a divine being, a higher being, a creator, then what I'm about to share with you will probably have very little meaning and very little value, because nothing I'm about to cover in this section is about what you can do and how you can handle it on your own and how you can make things happen. The truth is, the Course in Miracles says that, I love this, it says, begin to learn the joyous lessons that come quickly on the firm foundation that truth is true, because what's built on truth is true. So the universe of learning will open up before you. You want the universe of learning to do what? I want the universe of learning to open up before me. How do you want the universe of learning to open up before you? In all its gracious simplicity. Simplicity. The Course in Miracles says there's nothing harder to get people to understand is simple truths and simple ideas, because we've been programmed to completely be focused on complexity. So we've been taught that everything is complex. All the problems in the world are complex. I'm complex. Everybody I know is complex. All my issues are just so complex. I'm in the Course in Miracles is saying, no, it's not. There's nothing complex about you. Either you are seeing things correctly and in a way that's going to lead you to happiness, or you're seeing things incorrectly in a way that's going to lead you to unhappiness. That's all that's happening all the time. You're making decisions that are either going to result in you having peace, or you're making decisions that's going to result in you having conflict. There's never but two things you're choosing between. And then everything you're dealing with in the world is neutral. I can use my house to make me miserable, or I could use my house to make myself joyful. I can keep myself miserable about my car, or I can make myself feel joyful about my car. There's nothing in the world that's really causing you to feel anything. Your partner isn't causing you to feel anything. Your job isn't causing you to feel anything. What's happening in the world right now, it's not causing you to feel in the way that you feel right now. The way that you feel right now is coming from the interpretation and meaning that you're giving to everything and everybody in your life. You are the one giving me and what I'm saying all the meaning that it has for you right now. You are not hearing me directly. Do you know you're not hearing me directly? None of you all are hearing the thing I'm saying directly. You are all relating to your interpretation of what you think I'm saying. You're reacting to your interpretation of me based on what you've experienced in the past. You are interpreting what you're hearing me say. So everybody's always reacting to their interpretation, not the other person or not the situation. So the Course in Miracles is saying, well, if it's your interpretation that's causing you to feel the way you feel, if you had the right interpretation, you could really feel awesome. You could feel joy. You could feel, so it's your interpretations that's causing your misery. You don't have to be unhappy because you broke. There are plenty of people who don't have any money that's very happy because of the way they're looking at their life and the way that they're looking at themselves and the way that they feel about their experience. And then there are many people with millions and millions of dollars that are absolutely miserable because of the way they're looking at it. And there are people with millions and millions of dollars that are absolutely happy. And there are people with nothing that feel miserable. So the Course in Miracles is trying to get us to understand that your happiness has nothing to do with what you think it has anything to do with. And that's why it has a workbook lesson that says, I'm never upset for the reason I think. No, you're not upset because your mate came home late. You're upset because of what you're telling yourself about your mate coming home late. You're never upset about anything directly. It's always the conversation you're having in your head and what you're telling yourself that's determining how you feel. And you can change your feelings instantly. Some people think they have no control over their feelings, but it's not true either. If I step on your foot and you get mad about it and you're angry at me and I say, hey, I'm really sorry. It was an accident. I didn't mean to do that. You might instantly go, oh, okay, we cool. You were upset 1 second ago. The minute you had a new interpretation, which was it was an accident, your anger was gone. You didn't still have anger about that 3 weeks later. As soon as you got a new interpretation, oh, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to step on your foot. Then if you're a sane person, then immediately you let it go. So what I'm saying to you is that's a small example of how the way you look at it determines how you feel. When you change their way of looking at it, when they said it was an accident, you let go of your anger. You changed your feelings instantly when you change the way you think about something. So whatever you're feeling is coming from your thinking. Your feelings are coming from your thinking. Your feelings are not coming from what's happening on the job. Your feeling is not coming from your mate, your children, your partners, your financial situation, the situation in the world right now. None of that's causing your feelings. What's causing your feelings is the voice inside your head that's telling you how to look at it and how to feel about it. That's what's making you jealous, angry, upset, and that's what's making you feel good and wonderful and inspired. Do you see the power of that? If it's my interpretation of everything that's creating how I'm feeling, then theoretically, through the Course in Miracles that's giving me new ways of looking at things, then if I started using the meanings and interpretations that the Course in Miracles is teaching me, then I can change the way that I feel. And therefore, I don't have to wait on you to change for me to be happy. I don't have to wait for you to believe me for me to be happy. I don't have to wait for anything outside of myself for me to be happy if it's just changing my interpretation that affects my feeling. So the Course in Miracles is saying the Holy Spirit is the part of you that knows that. It's the part of you that has the correct perception. It's the part of you that wants to teach you how to let go of the blocks. So the Course in Miracles says to you that the universe of learning will open up before you in all its gracious simplicity. With the truth before you, you won't look back. If where I'm moving is toward love and the truth and joy and happiness, and that's, like it says, if that's what's before me, then I'm not looking back. Do you know people who are constantly miserable and unhappy and thinking about the things in the past that makes them unhappy? They don't have the truth before them. Because if you had the truth before you, if you were seeing love in front of you, if you were seeing peace in front of you, if you were seeing abundance and joy and happiness in front of you, you'd be so busy experiencing it and being grateful for it, you wouldn't have time to think about what your daddy did when you were 6 years old. You wouldn't have time to think of what your mate did to you in the past. People who are constantly dwelling on the past are people who are miserable in their present, who are not focused on anything that they're grateful for in their present. If the truth is not before you, then you're always thinking about the past or you're worried about the future. I'll say that again. If truth and love and joy and freedom was in front of you, and that was what you were experiencing, you wouldn't be thinking about what happened last week, what happened on your last job, what happened that's making you unhappy from the past. A person that's constantly dwelling on the past and what happened in the past are not being present with the blessings and the joy that's available to them right now. So, the happy learner meets the conditions of learning here. The happy learner meets the conditions of knowledge and reality. And all this lies in the Holy Spirit's plan to free you from the past. So your higher self is trying to do what? God is trying to free you from your past learning. Free you from your past conditioning. Free you from what's gone. Now, how can Spirit not be successful in freeing you from what's gone? If it's already gone, then it's going to be successful. So someone who loves you is not someone who's always reminding you of what you did in the past to them that upset them and all the wrongs that you did to them. No one who is practicing real love is constantly dwelling on the past, according to this, that you don't have to believe. So the Course teaches you how love would treat you, and the Course in Miracles shows you how something or someone that doesn't love you is going to treat you. So you'll know the difference, so that when you meet somebody, you'll know instantly whether this is a person who's capable of sharing love with you, or this is a person that's going to be another big, major learning experience for you. Right? Because if you're talking to that person and all they're doing is talking about how everybody else has hurt them in some way or how they're a victim of everything around them, and they're telling you about how their ex was such a horrible person, then you are dealing with a person who is not expressing love and who is not forgiven yet. So they're going to also probably do the same thing with you. They're going to probably blame you for whatever doesn't happen. They're probably not going to take any responsibility for what they're experiencing either. See, since the Course has taught me that love frees me from the past, and I'm talking to somebody and all they're talking about is the past and not about what they're grateful for right now and the blessings that are happening in their life right now, then I know that they're not coming from a place of love yet, which is a place of full appreciation. The Course in Miracles teaches that love means full appreciation. See, many people, when you tell them you love them, they get scared because they've gone through the most pain with people who told them that they love them at another time. That's especially true in special relationships. Because special relationships, at the beginning of the special relationship, everybody's just so in love with each other and they can't get enough of each other and everything each other does is fine. But what you're really seeing is a preview of common attractions. You're seeing the way the relationship is going to really be after you all go past and heal any of the blocks that need to be healed in terms of how you deal with relationships. Because if you don't love me and I don't love you, we're not going to stick it out through the lessons that come up and the blocks that come up that we need to get beyond. So often when I do counseling, I'll ask people, and they look at me really strange because I'll be talking to couples and I'll say to them two things. Do you want to join or do you want to separate? That's the first thing I want to know. Do y'all want to join or do you want to separate? Because if you want to separate, there's nothing I'm going to say to you that's going to work because you're going to use everything I say to you as another reason to separate. The next thing that I really want you to answer me is, do you love each other? Are you in love? If it's a couple. Are you in love with each other? In love. Hear what I'm saying? In love with each other. And sometimes that's the strangest look you ever want to see on a couple's face. Is when you ask them, do they love each other? It's like, then I go there, what the hell are y'all together for? Security. I don't want to be alone. Somebody to travel with. Somebody to make love with. No. Do you love this being? Do you have total full appreciation happening for this being? Do you care enough for this being that you want to get past any blocks, any fears, any guilts, any grievances? The attraction of the thing beyond the obstacle is what pulls you past the obstacle. We got to have a desire to join that is so strong, it'll pull us beyond any of the challenges that come up in our relationship. So if we don't love each other, it's hard enough when you love each other to deal with the things that can sometimes come up in a relationship for you to learn. Let alone saying you're trying to do it with somebody you hate and you want to keep it that way. It's crazy. But the course says, but y'all are crazy. That's the premise of the course. Y'all crazy as hell, all of y'all. But y'all don't know it, but you got a part of you that's totally insane. Okay? Let's get this straight. Y'all are crazy, but you don't know it. And you go, well, how do you know we're crazy? Because look at the insanity all around you, the separation, the fear, the attack, the loneliness, the sickness. I know things seem to be going right with you right now, so you forget that that is not the case for the entire world. So you want to move toward, I want to be used for the happiness of all, not just for the happiness of one individual. I want to be a demonstrator of love and truth and unity for all. It's okay to have your primary relationships. But what I'm saying is that you want to be a happy learner. You want to be so loving and so happy that people will see your light and your light will wake them up or make them go, what is it about? What are you doing that's making you seem like you're so joyful and peaceful right now? Can you give me some insight into how maybe I could do that? You want to be a happy learner. So what love is going to do, what spirit is going to do, is free you from your past. The Course says past learning, because it's your past learning that's causing your pain. It's what you learned in the past. Then it says love, the Holy Spirit, is going to open up the way to freedom for you. So what does that mean? Let's make that practical. Someone who loves you is going to free you. Someone who loves you is not going to limit you. Someone who loves you is going to free you. Someone who loves you is going to respect your freedom. They're going to support your freedom. Love doesn't limit you and imprison you. Love frees you. So the truth is true. What I'm telling you right now is the truth. What else ever was, what else could ever be. So this simple lesson that I'm sharing with you right now, do you know that it holds the key? It holds the key to the fearful door that you believe is locked forever. In case you're one of those people who are telling yourself you can never really be happy, you can never really be loved, I'm giving you the key. The key is in the Course in Miracles, but it's not only in the Course in Miracles. The key is in many teachings. The key is in many books. There's one truth. There's a lot of ways to get to it. And for some people, the Course in Miracles is the way. For some people, it's not. Hello? And that's true of every teaching. There'll never be a universal theology. There'll never be a time that everybody believes in the same form of the truth. So the Course in Miracles is saying to us that the key is only the light, the truth that shines away the shapes and forms and fears of nothing, which is the fear. So what do? The Course in Miracles says, well, this is what I want you to do today. I want you to accept this key to freedom. I want you to accept this key to freedom, it says, from the hands of Christ, which it defines as the one self that we all share, our real self, our spiritual self. The Course in Miracles uses Christian terminology to describe universal spiritual themes. So it has its own definition of the terms that people have heard, like Christ. So the Course in Miracles says, take that key of freedom from your real self who gives it to you, that you may join your real self, join your loving self in the healing task of bringing the truth. If I want to be a means for peace and love and joy to come into the world, what comes through me has to have an effect on me. So when you say, I want to be the voice for God, I want to be the voice for peace, I want to be the voice for joy, then it's going to come through you, have an effect upon you as it moves through you. So when you say, I want to learn, behold your brothers in their freedom, I want to realize the light is come. I want to free you from the sleep of fear. I want to free you from the sleep of darkness. People think that they're really loving and really kind and really true and kind and loving and giving, that somebody might take advantage of me. If you are truly letting love come through you, if you are truly letting the truth come through you, your vibration and who and what you are wouldn't even attract people who constantly want to deceive you, hurt you, or fool you in some way. Do you know that? Do you know that do you know that people who want to attack and who feel fearful and insecure and angry and they want to stay that way, they are not attracted to loving, peaceful people. They are actually repelled by loving, peaceful people. So people who still want to hurt themselves don't hang out with people who are going to be peaceful and loving, because until they love themselves, they don't think they deserve to be around people that are peaceful and loving. So they are not attracted to them. They are repelled by them until they make the decision of what? There must be a better way. See, as soon as you go, I've reached my limit, there must be a better way, the universe rushes in to give you all the support. But you got to reach your limit, because if not, you'll just be shucking and jiving, and you won't stick to it long enough to start to see the blessings that are going to come your way. So unfortunately, most people don't change except through suffering. Suffering isn't necessary to change, but in most cases, that's what makes people change, is pain. When a person is having a lot of pleasure, they usually don't want to change anything that's going on. So in a way, pleasure can keep you more asleep and limited than pain can. Because even though you might be doing something that's not true, like believing your happiness is coming from that other person, it feels so good, you don't want to learn that it's not coming from the other person, it's coming from you. You see what I'm saying? If I'm having a good time, I don't want you to tell me that money isn't the ultimate thing that's going to make me happy. If right now it looks like I'm having a really good time because I got a lot of money. So sometimes pleasure can be much more deceiving than pain. Because sometimes when people go through pain, at least they'll go, you know what? I need to see something different right now. Could you help me? But if I am taking, like the Course says, poison you don't know you're taking, that tastes sweet, will kill you just as much as bitter poison. So sometimes people are having the sweet poison, and they don't realize that what they're doing is still not reflecting the truth, even if it's making them feel good. So anytime you think your happiness is coming from anything outside of yourself, even if you're enjoying it, that's the sweet poison. That's you believing something that's really not true, but because you like it, it never occurs to you to question it, because you're enjoying it. So the truth is going to make you aware of what could possibly hurt you that you know about and don't know about, and it's going to help you know what will always bring you the joy and the peace that you want to experience that will free you from the sleep of darkness. Whoa, whoa, whoa. So I got one more thing I'm going to say at the end. I got something that I want you to just let yourself hear. I want to thank you for tuning in. I'm a full-time teacher of A Course in Miracles. And if you feel moved to make a financial expression of appreciation, I'd be totally grateful for that. And if you'd like to do that, you can just go to my website, www.earlpurdy.com. You can also use Venmo or the Cash App or PayPal. My email address is earlpurdy@earlpurdy.com. If you'd like to have a one-on-one session with me so I can show you how to apply these principles to situations and circumstances that you're going through right now that's not giving you peace, and you know you've reached your limit and you're ready to look at it another way, I call them clarity sessions. You go to my website and it explains my clarity sessions in detail, and you can book a session with me right there. For over 40 years, I've also been a professional astrologer and numerologist. It was what got me on my spiritual path in the first place. And if a person is open to it, I also will give astrological and numerological insight if you are open to it. Okay? So on Thursdays at 7 p.m., I do Hardcore Course in Miracles, which is a class that is especially geared to A Course in Miracles students and showing them how to do the practical application of the ideas. That's a Thursday at 7 p.m. Mountain Time on the Earl Purdy page on Facebook, the Earl Purdy page. And on Sundays at 1 p.m. Mountain Time on Facebook, we do A Course in Miracles here on Facebook Live. Now, what I want to do, my goal is to support you in your own study and in you being on your own path. I'm a support. I want to be truly helpful. But like I said earlier, that won't take the place of attention and study. But you know, the truth is your spiritual path will be something that inspires you. Your spiritual path would be something that inspires you and moves you. So I would suggest to you, don't be on a spiritual path that you're having to force yourself to follow. You want to find a spiritual path that moves you, rocks you, thrills you. 40 years later, I get as thrilled by the Course in Miracles more than ever before because it's working in my life, it's working in my life, it's working, it's working, it's working, it's working, it's working, it's working. But I'm doing it more than I've ever done also. So I want you to hear this. Let yourself, just let yourself close your eyes for a minute and just let yourself hear this. You want to let yourself hear this. Take a breath. Take a breath. Take a breath. Do you know that even though you are an American, you can actually just do nothing for a minute and just relax? I know that's a way out concept for Americans because we some busy son of a guns. We got a lot we doing every second. We so busy. Behold our brothers and sisters, our equals in their freedom. So what do? You want to see people in their freedom. I want to see you as free. I want to see you as free. I want to learn of you. Let's learn of each other how to be free of darkness. Let's learn how to be free of guilt and anger and grievances together. The light in you, the truth in you. Do you know the light and truth in you will awaken your brothers and sisters? And when you wake people up to the truth in themselves, when you wake people up to the beauty in themselves, do you know they will not leave you asleep? They will not leave you asleep. If you wake up to love in me, I'm going to continue to reinforce the love in you. Do you know the vision of love, the vision of Christ, the vision of your real self? woo, is given the very instant that it is perceived. Where everything is clear, it is all holy and healing and beautiful. Where everything is clear, how can you tell when you are seeing everything in a clear way? How can you tell when you're seeing everything in a clear way? It will be holy, it will be beautiful, it will be innocent, it will be guiltless. So when you are seeing your partner correctly, they will be beautiful to you, innocent to you. Whenever you're seeing anything clearly, it's holy and innocent and beautiful and powerful. That's what you see. Woo! The quietness of the simplicity of everything around you. The Course in Miracles says it is so compelling. Peace is so compelling that you will realize it is impossible to deny the simple truth. It's impossible to deny the simple truth. It's impossible to deny the simple love and freedom when you experience it. When you experience the truth, it's impossible to deny it. When you experience real love, it's impossible to deny it. The Course in Miracles says real love is irresistible. If it's real love, you can't resist it. If it's the truth, it's simple, it's irresistible, because you can't deny the simple truth because there's nothing else but the simple truth. How can you deny the thing that is the simple truth? God is everywhere. Love is everywhere. God is everywhere. Love is everywhere. God is everywhere. Love is everywhere. And you are in love with everything. You are in love with your Creator. You are in love with everything. You are in love. You are in God. You are in love with everything. So if you are with love, if the truth is with you everywhere, if love is available to you from everywhere and you know it, how can you sing the dirge of sorrow when this is true? How can you sing your song of sorrow if you are in God, you are in love with everything? And if this doesn't mean anything to you, set the goal of letting go of the blocks. Set the goal of letting go of the blocks. The Course will teach you how to let go of the blocks to the awareness of love and joy. You need a spiritual path. If it's not the Course in Miracles, find one. Don't go to your ego for advice. Don't keep going to the part of you that created the problem or the sadness in the first place, to be the part of you that's going to heal it and solve it. I appreciate you. Don't forget, what is our agreement? If at all possible, you'll watch or listen to it at least 4 times before next week, because if you don't remember it, you haven't learned it. So your goal should be, let me remember what I heard. I need to remember what I was told. And then I need to use that perception, use that perspective. Now, what you may do, as soon as I finish, you may go into Course amnesia. Because usually when I say, may the Course be with you, that's it. It's gone. That's just the way the Course in Miracles is. It's so funny. Why? Because the part of you that wants you to keep going and doing the way you have always done, the Course in Miracles says that part of you tries to completely block out the truth that you're hearing. That's why the repetition is so important. And you want to form relationships with people who will help you remember how valuable you are. You want to form relationships with people who see the beauty and the truth and the love in you, so that when you forget it, you're depressed, you're angry, you're upset, they will remind you of your value. They will tell you that what you're telling yourself about yourself isn't true right now. If you're telling yourself you're unworthy, not valuable, and not loved, that ain't the truth. It won't be somebody that will reinforce the idea and tell you, you think you're no good? I think you're no good too. So you don't want to be with that kind of people. That when you say something negative about yourself, they agree with you. All right? I love you. I appreciate you. Mighty companion, may the course be with you.